This is an NE555 and CD4017 light water flowing LED module DIY soldering kit. This particular circuit is very common among kits which flash various LEDs, and in this circuit all it's being used for is to flash the LEDs in sequence. This kit is the surface mount version, and I thought it would be an interesting kit to assemble with you all today. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. So the kit includes the basic schematic diagram, and as you can see, what happens here is we use the NE555 to generate a clock pulse, which pulses the CD4017, which illuminates each of the LEDs in sequence. On the flip side here, we have the component list. So we have a PCB, and that's just here. As you can see, this is a nice little PCB. It is double-sided, but here we have all of the surface mount components we need to install. All of the values are indeed marked on the board, which will be very handy in just a moment. We have two ICs. We have a CD4017 and an NE555. That's the smaller chip there, and we'll look at those more closely before we install them. We have 10 red LEDs, and these are the through-hole variety, so these will be installed through the board. We have some resistors in these very small packages here, and we'll have to look very carefully to work out what values these are. So there are two individual ones just here. And it says we should have a 10K here and a 2.2K just here. And of course we need a resistor for each of our LEDs, and that will be these ones, I assume. These will be our 1K resistors. We also have a couple of capacitors here as well to install on the board, and these will go in the two capacitor locations marked on the board. We also have this variable resistor here. This is a 50K variable resistor, and this will allow us to adjust the speed of the clock pulse, which indicates the speed of the LEDs flashing. And finally, we have this little header here, which is used to connect the power. Because we're going to be doing some surface mount here, I've changed out my soldering tip here for this new one here with a sort of chamfered edge here. So this has got a sharper point on it that we will be able to use to target a little bit more neatly on the board. I'll see how we get on with that, as it's a brand new tip. So usually I would start with the resistors on most circuit boards, but in this case I think I'm going to start off with the ICs just to get them in place. And to do that, I'm going to end up tinning just one pad to start with and then sliding the chip in place. And of course there are two of those. So I've got some tweezers here which will come in very handy when we are manipulating the components. And we can see here, hopefully, that we have, this is our CD4017. And on this end here, we have a little dimple just in the IC. Don't know if that's going to come across on camera. And for the NE555, we have a stripe and a dimple down this left-hand side again here. And these need to be lined up with the notches that we have just here on the silk screen and just here on the silk screen. So let's turn the soldering iron on and get started. So I've also got a flux pen, and I'm just going to add some flux here, just a little dab onto the pad that we've just re-tinned. There we go, just make sure that's flowing. And then we will gently maneuver our IC into place. Okay, there we go. We've managed to line up our IC on those pads. And what I'm going to do now is go ahead and solder all of the individual legs, and then we will go ahead and do the next chip. Okay, so I'm reasonably happy with these now. They look pretty good to me. We'll find out if that's done correctly when, of course, we go ahead and use the board at the end of the video. But for now, let's go ahead and install the 555, which goes just here. There we go. One pin is now aligned. Now all we need to do is solder the rest of them. Okay, that's our 555. Now, next I'm going to do these resistors in the middle because there are 10 of them there. So let's install those and see how we get on. Our resistors here are in this package here. We can tell they're the right ones because they're the only ones we have enough of, and these are all 1K resistors, and they go in the center here. Now these are very tiny, and they are marked 102. That's 1 0 and 2 additional zeros for 1K. Okay, one installed, just the rest of them down here to go. Okay, they're all attached, I think. Not the prettiest job I've ever done, but not too bad, I suppose. Next, let's put in these additional resistors here on the end, and we have a 2K and a 10K. So here, you're not going to be able to make this out, I don't think, but this one says 222, which would be 2.2K, 2, 2, and 2 additional zeros. And this one here says 103, so that would be 1, 0, and 3 additional zeros for 10K. So this will be our 10K, and the 2.2 will go where it says 2K on the board. Next, I'm going to do the capacitors here, and we have 2 capacitors here. Now, capacitors are annoyingly unmarked when they're in surface mount packaging, but fortunately we only have one type on this board, and they're both 1 microfarad, so that'll be the ones we have included here. Okay, that's all of our surface mount components. Now, next, what I'm going to do is start installing LEDs along the front here. Now, as usual, LEDs have a positive and negative direction. And I have a CR2032 coin cell battery here with a plus sign. That indicates the outside casing. And we can put our LED across. And that shows us we have positive on the long lead and negative on the short lead. Now, on the PCB, there is an arrow inside the LED, and it's going from positive to negative, and so long lead is going on the bottom of all of these from the direction I currently have the board. So the positive is going towards the power end of the board. Now these are all crooked, so what I'm going to do here is just heat them very gently. So I've only soldered one leg here of each of the LEDs, so I can press on them while I'm heating them, and that'll square them up. So there you go, all of our LEDs nicely aligned. Next, all I need to do there is solder the other leg on each one. Next up, I'm going to do the power connection just here on the end. And finally, our resistor. Okay, so we finished assembling our little kit here. Now we need to apply some power, and it turns out we need negative and positive just here. And one way I've used to power these before is to put a coin cell, CR2032 coin cell, just between these tabs here, just to test it out. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I can just wedge this in, like so. And there you go, we have this flashing light pattern. Now we can adjust the speed by adjusting the variable resistor here. You see as I turn it up, it goes faster and faster. And as I turn it down, it goes slower and slower. Interesting enough, we do have one LED here that isn't lighting. So let's see if we can touch that joint up and see if that fixes it. And if not, let's track down what the problem might be. Okay, so I've touched up the resistor here and the LED, and I'm still not getting any luck, although I'm not sure that I've got the right one there. Okay, so as you can see, that LED is now operating. It turns out that R6 is the one that's used by this LED here. As you can see, it's very crooked now, but I have managed to install it. I'm probably just going to quickly see if I can tidy it up very slightly. Okay, so it's still misaligned on the pad there. It'd probably be a little bit of extra effort to get it fully aligned. So as I mentioned, we can adjust the speed by adjusting this variable resistor here. So I can turn it right down so it's very slow, and you can see every single LED is now illuminating, or I can turn it up very fast indeed. And so this essentially controls the pulse rate of the NE555 here, and every time this ticks, it tells the counter here to flash the next or turn on the next LED in the chain. So I think this is a really fun little kit and a great introduction to surface mount soldering. As you can see, some of my soldering here does need a little bit of improvement. I seem to have the chips down reasonably well, but the individual tiny components, such as the resistors and capacitors here, are a little bit more tricky, so something for me to practice on in future. But for now, I hope you found this video interesting, and I hope to speak to you again soon in the next one.